Art, who serves as a docent in the Supreme Court building here in Washington, D.C., gave a private tour to several of his friends of this magnificent building in late November. Fortunately, we were among them. This short video clip can only serve as a snapshot of all we saw, heard, and experienced. The Supreme Court building was designed by Cass Gilbert and built from 1931 to 1935. And the court first sat in the building on Monday, October 7th, 1935. Now, the west pediment that you see here is located above the front entrance of the Supreme Court, and it's the work of artist Robert Attican. Pediment consists of a sculptured grouping of 9 figures with the inscription, "Equal Justice Under the Law." We are now on the ground floor of the building, looking at exhibitions. Much of these look at the history and tradition, but these deal with sculptural and symbolic treatment that Cass Gilbert used throughout the building's architecture. Several original plaster models aid in the discussion of the symbolism of this iconic building. We are now in the courtroom of the Supreme Court. Of course, no pictures can be taken with inside. These had to be taken from outside looking back in. But I want to now show you some of the very interesting treatment on the friezes above. We are now looking at the frieze, the east frieze, directly above the bench. Each frieze measures 40 feet long by 7 feet 2 inches high. It's made of ivory veined Spanish marble. This east wall frieze, located directly above the bench, has 2 male center figures. On the left is the majesty of law, with a book of law on its side, and to the right is the power of government. Now, the west wall frieze is an allegorical representation of good versus evil. The central female figures are justice and divine inspiration, leaning on a sheathed sword representing her might. Justice faces to the viewer's right, staring down the forces of evil, which are the powers of evil. Moving to the right from the central group are vice and crime, corruption, slander, deception, and despotic power. And the north wall frieze shown here proceeds from right to left, starting with philosophy, equity, the right of man, and liberty and peace. And the south wall frieze starts with fame and moves from left to right, including some of the great lawgivers or allegorical figures: Meneses, Moses, Solomon, Solon, Draco, Confucius, and Octavian. We now move to the third floor, which has the library, which has a collection of more than 500,000 volumes. As in the courtroom, the main courtroom, no pictures can be taken in this library, so therefore I had to pull a few from the internet. To meet the informational needs of the court, librarians would draw on now electronic retrieval systems and their microfilm collections. And we moved to one of the conference rooms on the main floor with beautiful chandeliers and paneled ceilings, as you can see here. And of course, some of the Supreme Court justice portraits. And clearly, no tour of the Supreme Court would be complete without a view of one of its marble spiral staircases. The one here we see ascends 5 stories and is supported only by overlapping steps and by the extensions into the wall. So this ends our tour of this iconic building. We hope you enjoyed it, and we thank Art for putting it on for us. Thank you.